Hi, this is Kendra from Pencil and Pigment, and today is Tuesday, which means I'm doing art around the world, and I am finishing up the country of Japan, and it is not easy to do a wrap-up of this country. It is such a rich, dense history full of art in every time period, so this is how I've decided to break it down. I'm just going to show you a piece of art from a bunch of time periods in chronological order, and we can just look at sort of the evolution of some of these things. All right, I hope you're ready. So this is from the Jomon period, and this time period ranges from 10,000 to 300 BC, and this is a jar from the middle of that time period. And this was used for cooking, and this time period is considered the emergence of pottery, and this is so beautiful. This is absolutely breathtaking. The next time period that followed that one was called the Yoi, and the Yoi time period ranged from 300 BC to 300 AD, and so there's a little discrepancy in this time period due to radiocarbon dating, and they might think it's earlier, like 1000 BC to 800 BC, but here is just a beautiful jar from that time period that I wanted to share with you because pottery is beautiful and Japan art is amazing. This next time period that followed was called the Kofun time period, and this is the time period of the Hanwa. Remember when I discussed this in a video earlier, these sculptures? But there was a gray stoneware, and this was called suware, and these were also used in tombs and made for Buddhist temples, and it's gray and it's absolutely beautiful. And there are overlapping time periods within these time periods. I'm just not made of time. I'm not. But so I'm just going to kind of go over the major ones. And the next major time period is considered the Nara time period. And this ranged from about 710 to 794. And bronze sculptures and Buddhist art absolutely flourished in this time period because of the emperor. And this is one such sculpture, and it is incredible, the detail. It's amazing. The next major time period is called the Heian time period, and this ranged from about 794 to 1185. And this is an illustrated scroll of a tale of Genji. And I'm going to link everything in the description box. It's going to be all the links ever created in time because so much went into research of looking up all these different things. And we're going to come back to the Heian time period because this was the start of a couple of my favorite things in Japan. And so we'll revisit this one. The next time period was the Kamakura time period, and that ranged from about 1185 to 1313. And this painting is called Night Attack on the Sanjo Palace. And there was a lot of war and things going on during this time. Mongolia was trying to invade. There was a lot of different influence from China. There was just so much going on, and I feel like this painting is a good depiction of how turbulent the times were of this period. The next time period is called the Muromachi, and it's sometimes also called the Ashikaga, and this took place from 1333 to 1568. And this is sort of just an illustration of a fictional narrative, and some of these people have like animal heads, and I just thought that was kind of a cool, surreal looking painting from this time period. And there's, playing with poetry and adding calligraphy and different things to this painting. And again, there are overlapping time periods, but I'm doing the major ones. And the next major time period is the Moyoyama, and this time period ranged from about 1568 to 1600. And this is Fushimi Castle, and it's also called Moyoyama Castle. And it's located in Kyoto, and it was built from 1592 to 1594. And I don't do a lot of architecture in my art around the world, but if you want to follow that up and explore Japanese architecture, it is absolutely breathtaking. This is in fact a replica. It was destroyed in the 1960s and rebuilt identically a couple years later. The next time period I want to talk about is the Edo time period, and this is one of my favorites. And this ranged from 1600 to 1868. And the ukiyo-e wood blocks that I talked about in a previous video were created in this time period. And this is absolutely one of my favorites of the ukiyo-e woodblock prints. And this one is called Swordswoman in a Duel. And this is Muromachi. It's a female martial arts practicer. So women samurai dated back to the Heian period, remember the one I said we'd revisit, and women fought alongside men. The wives of samurai also fought in battle, and there are famous ones. I will link articles to some of the famous samurai women and martial arts women of the different time periods throughout Japanese history, but this is one of my favorite woodblock prints that depicts one, and she's just getting it done, and I think it's amazing. So there is the Meiji time period, and that ranged from 1868 to 1912, and this was the one where I did the video on Umera Shoen, and her art is a good example of the Meiji time period. Now after that, there's the Taisho, which took place in the 1920s, the Showa, which is the 1920s to 1989, and the Heisei, which starts January 8th, 1989 and goes to now. So that is the current time period Japan is in, and it has to do with the death of their emperor Hiroshita. So the next thing I want to talk briefly about that I just did not get a chance to talk about at all is sort of textile art and kimono within the Japanese culture. So the kimono was actually born in the Heian period, and kimono literally means thing to wear. And through the different eras, it's sort of undergone different style changes, and it really wasn't until the Meiji time period that folks began calling it the kimono. And the style, the motif, the fabric, the technique, and color all explain who you were in the Edo period. Everybody wore kimono in the Edo. And sort of the fabric quality, the choice of patterns, the thread, the paint, woodblock prints, the colors, they're very important for presenting your rank, your age, your gender, and your refinement. Now there are different types of kimono. There is a more affordable sort of summer kimono called a yukata. If you want to look at history of the kimono and fashion, I highly recommend it. It is absolutely fascinating, especially for men's kimono as well. These can range easily to $30,000 US dollars a piece. I have one small PSA, and that is that a culture is not a costume. Please don't wear one of these for Halloween. While Japan absolutely loves sharing their culture and would love for you to own and wear kimono, as the industry has absolutely dropped by about 90%, it is not a thing that you appropriate for a holiday and take out of cultural context. So keep in mind that the ube, the belt you wear, the colors, the patterns have to do with season, your age, your relationship status. There's a whole cultural meaning behind every single piece and part of the kimono. So it is very important that if you do want to incorporate this outfit into your wardrobe and your fashion, that you do it with respect. I hope you found this video interesting. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.